Today we are going to be looking at four specific functions. These are the fraction function, and this is the fraction key. The power function, that is y to the power of x, that is this key. The square root function, and to access the square root function, we need to press second function and the x squared function. The second function, the x squared function, would give you the function in orange. And finally, we'll be looking at the nth root function. To access that, we are going to press second function, y to the power of x. Let us look at some input data. Let us suppose we wanted to input a half. Then we would press 1, ABC, 2. Then we press the equal sign. This is a half. The 1 represents the numerator and the 2 represents the denominator. This R that is on our display screen represents the vinculum, or the line that separates the numerator and the denominator. Suppose if I wanted to input 3 1/3, then I would input 3 ABC, 1 ABC, 3 equal. In this case, the first 3 represents the whole number. The R represents the separation of the whole number from the fraction. That is the first R. The 1 represents the numerator and the 3 represents the denominator. Suppose if I wanted to input 9/5, then I press 9 ABC 5. When we press the equal sign, you see it returns to 1 4/5. To convert this to an improper fraction, that is your 9/5, then you press second function, the fraction function, and then you have 9/5. Looking at the power function, to input 4 squared, we press 4, x squared function, equal. So 4 squared is 16. If I wanted to input 9 cubed, I would input 9 y power x 3. And this is equivalent to 729. Using the square root function, if I wanted to find the square root of 81, I would input second function, square root 81 equals. So that the square root of 81 is 9. If I wanted to find the square root of 225, second function, square root 225 equals. The square root of 225 is 15. But suppose if I wanted to find the cube root of 27. To find the cube root of 27, you first input 3, second function, x root 27 equals. So that the cube root of 27 is 3. Suppose if I wanted to find the fourth root of 625, then the fourth root of 625, we press 4, second function, x root 625 equals. So that the fourth root of 625 is 5. Suppose if you were given this problem to do. CXC normally asks you to evaluate problems like these, in which you are given 3 marks to do with the use of calculators. Remember, if a 3 marks question is given, then there must be an opportunity for you to get 3 marks, all 3 marks, 2 marks, 1 mark, or you may even get 0 marks. So although you can evaluate this straight away and get the answer, you would need to put these in stages so that if you were to make a mistake, then you can still pick up marks along the way. So that when you are asked to evaluate this, you put the numerator separate in parentheses like this. This sign means divided by. Then put the denominator, the entire thing here, in parentheses as well. And use your calculator to evaluate this and this. Let us do so now. 1.5 minus 2/5 gives me 1 1/10. Then we evaluate this. 4 2/5 multiplied by 3/4 make 3 3/10. When you evaluate this section and this section, if you would have gotten the correct answer here and the correct answer here, this would have given you 2 marks. 1 mark here, 1 mark here. Now let us conclude. We would have 1 1/10 divided by 3 3/10. This gives me 1/3. So our answer is 1/3. Note carefully that marks are awarded for 1 mark here, 1 mark here, and 1 mark here. This saves the candidate a lot of stress, because if they were to do it in one shot and they didn't get the correct answer, they may have picked up marks here and here. For this line gives you 2 marks, and this gives you 1 mark, for a total of 3 marks. Now here's another question. We had 2.5 squared minus 2.89 divided by 17. We can evaluate this by using our power function. 2.5 squared, and that would give me 6.25. I am going to deliberately separate it. This is equal to 6.25 minus, and now I'm going to evaluate the 2.89 divided by 17. 2.89 divided by 17, and this gives me 0.17. Again, if you evaluated this section correctly to obtain here, that is 1 mark. You evaluated this section correctly to obtain here, this is another mark. So you have 2 marks here. Now when I do the subtraction, I'd have 6.25 minus 0.17. That gives me 6.08. And here is your third and final mark. Now, looking at the last example, you had the cube root of 27 divided by 9 squared. To evaluate this, I'm going to use my nth root function. But in this case, we require the cube root. And to get the cube root, I would input 3 x root function 27 equals. So the numerator gives me 3 divided by 9 squared. I'm going to use my power function. 9 squared equals 81. So my answer is 3 over 81. However, if I want to reduce this to its lowest term, the calculator can also do that. I just simply input 3 over 81, then press equal, and this gives me the reduced fraction, 1 over 27. Remember, these questions can be done manually. However, CXC often asks you to evaluate questions with or without the calculator. In this case, you were asked to use your calculators to evaluate these problems. If you know how to use your calculators effectively, you can pass CSEC examination with flying colors. Here's the end of the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.